Canterbury Trails Farm. Today I'm finally getting to the privacy screen or the room divider, whatever you want to call it, that I've been talking about since I started the Cozy Corner. What I had was, let me get this off of here. I had a 6-panel wood, and it's basically paper, privacy screen. Anna, whenever she had surgery in our former house, it was a 2-story house, and whenever she had surgery, she had several when she was younger, we would have to make her a bedroom in the dining room downstairs because all the kids' bedrooms were upstairs and she couldn't go up the stairs for about 6 months. So we had bought 3 or 4 of these big room dividers so we could arrange in a corner and make a whole room and move all our stuff down there and move it all back. And we haven't used them. She's done with her surgeries now, and so we haven't used them. They've just been sitting out in the garage. They were 6 panels, so what I did was I just removed the hardware, the hinges, and took off the other 3 panels, so I just have a 3-paneled privacy screen now. And that's all I'm going to need, because this is basically just for looks. So if you haven't been following, what I'm going to do is cover this, pad it, and cover it with fabric. And then I have vintage valentines that I have printed off on fabric on the printer. That I have found across the internet, and I actually bought some vintage ones and made scans, and they're going to be really cute on like red felt hearts that I'm going to attach to the finished covered privacy screen. If you've been following the Cozy Corner mini series that I've been doing, the sofa cover, the slip cover that I made, and then the throw pillows that we made different kinds of throw pillows, all sort of had a heart as the central theme. So that's where the hearts are all going to tie in. And the vintage valentines, I chose ones from the 30s to the mid 50s. That's my era that I like, and so I found some really cute ones that reflected things that I like sewing machines and little kids and babies and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I did was I ordered a king-size quilt batting, and I did get, I think it might be a cotton poly blend, I can't remember. It was whatever was cheapest, because this isn't going in clothes, it's not getting washed or anything. And then I've measured my panels, and I'm going to be stapling the padding onto each panel here. I'm just going to cover up the front. I'm not doing the back, or I'm not planning on doing the back. We'll see. You know, sometimes I change my mind when I'm doing things. So then I'm using this red and white fabric, and we used this, if you watch the gusseted throw pillows, we used this on the gussets around the sides, and so I'm using this again. It's red and white. I had a whole bunch of different red calicos and floral prints, but this one seemed to be the least busy, and I want the emphasis to be on those vintage hearts, so I went with the one that was mostly white, and it had the red, and it tied in with those cushions we made. So I've also went and measured my panels. Yours, if you're doing this, will be different because it's not the same one. If you're interested, we bought these from Wayfair, and they weren't that much money. So if you're looking, they're just very lightweight. It's basically like paper, and it feels like balsa wood. It's so thin. Just measure your panels, and you want to leave yourself 1 inch to 2 inches on each side, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these under and staple and or hot glue, I haven't decided yet, we'll get there when we get there, the fabric to each panel. And if you leave that if you leave the extra edges, the extra couple inches, you can adjust it and fold it under. So that's the one thing we're going to be doing. The other thing that's crucial at this part is I have purchased this red gimp braid, and this will cover, I'm sure you've seen this on couches and chairs and stuff. This will be covering, I'm going to be hot gluing this on. I'll be stapling the other, but I'm probably going to be hot gluing this on. And this will be going over the edges to cover our staples and the edges around it. It just gives it a nice sort of finished look. So I have 2 of those, and I'm using the 5/8 width, but they make it all the way up, I think, into 2 inches. But I didn't want the emphasis to be on the gimp braid. I just want this to cover up our work. So that's what that's for. So the first thing I'm going to do is get started, and I'm going to get these padded panels on there. I'm just using a staple gun that I've had for a million years since I moved into my very first apartment when I was 21. My mom gave this to me and I used it to recover. I had a bunch of hand-me-down furniture, and that year when I got a very small, it was like $106 tax refund, I used that money to buy fabric, and I recovered all the mismatched. I had 2 chairs and a couch that I had inherited from people, and I recovered all of that in the same fabric, and it was quite the undertaking. But that's why this is ancient, and let's hope it still works. The last time I used it was to do another chair about 4 years ago, and it was fine then. So let's set this camera up and let's get busy with the putting on the padding. And y'all, I'm wearing an apron. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with it because I've been doing things in my kitchen. So here we go. Okay, instead of cutting, I'm just gonna, wherever I feel like I need to adjust it, I'm just gonna fold it under. And I am pretty sure I want to cover all the wood. Yes, I do. So I'm just gonna do it right up to the edges. Knuckle. Oh, sorry. Okay, I've got the padding on, the fiberfill quilt batting. So the next thing I'm going to do is move towards the getting the panels on. And I will have to say that this stapler is causing me all kinds of headaches. So I'm going to stretch out my panels here of fabric. And we're doing exactly what we were doing with the fiberfill. We're going to be folding under the edges and stapling it on. Starting down here just because the camera angle. Fabric on over the padding, and it should have taken about 20 minutes, but it's probably been an hour. My stapler was just a mess, and I like to scream, and I did a few times. But I got the fiberfill on there, and then the batting, the fiberfill batting, and then the fabric panels, and you can see where the dividing is there. Okay, for this next step of recovering the room divider, privacy screen, whatever you want to call it, we have, last night we did the quilt batting, which like I said, I had a king-size quilt batting that I cut into sections, and I had a lot left over to use for other projects. And then we had the cotton fabric that I cut into panels, and we folded those raw edges under and we stapled them. So that is where we're at right now. And remember, we're just doing the fronts. I still don't think I'm going to do anything to the back. I think it's just going to be against the wall. If you're putting your room divider in a place where both sides are going to be seen, then you want to do the same thing to both sides. Currently, my plan is to have it up against a wall because it's more of a decor than an actual room divider. So if at any point I decide to use it somewhere where both sides are going to be seen, then I will adjust it and I'll go do the back side because I have enough fabric and stuff. But currently the plan is to have that part against the wall. So I have plugged in my glue gun. I just have a regular old glue gun. I've had this for ever and ever. And I've got my gimp braid. And like I said, I am using the 5/8 of an inch width. Now it will unravel if you're pulling on it and stuff, but since we're just using the glue gun here, it should be okay. I'm just going to start up here at the top, and I'm just going to glue it on. I actually have not used my glue gun in a couple of years, so let's hope it's functioning. Probably should have checked that before I started the project. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I'm not gonna do a lot of talking here. Another thing I'm doing is anywhere where there's gaps in the fabric from between the staples, I'm just inserting a little bit of glue underneath there against the wood just to hold it down a little bit better. Okay, so I got all the braid on there, and I'm going to let it, it's still, some of it's still a little gooey, let it completely dry, and then I'll come back and trim off all the little loose ends of, see there's like some little bits of glue here. So I'll come and trim all those little bits of glue off, and it's looking cute. So this is the first part of the Cozy Corner room divider, where I was just showing how to add the batting and the fabric and the trim, and it was really simple. Looking good. I like it, and can't wait to get to the decorating part. So that's going to be part 2. The next video with this Cozy Corner room divider will be us decorating it using the vintage valentines that I've printed off onto fabric, and we'll talk about that and the products that you can use to print pictures from wherever, scanned or saved or whatever, onto fabric, and then we're going to decorate that. This has been Recovering a Room Divider with Canterbury Trails Farm, and thank you for joining us today. Bye.